Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vinnie Langdon Show. I am Vinnie Langdon. Now, I'll be joined with docent Amy Roberts, who's going to tell us all about this historic Japanese garden. You don't want to miss this episode here on the Vinnie Langdon Show. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Vinnie Langdon Show. We are here at the Japanese Garden at Micke Grove Park, and I am here with Amy Roberts. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
So you want to give us a little grand tour of this beautiful garden here?
Very happy to.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, the Japanese garden was a dream of one of our Japanese men that worked in the garden for Mr. Micke in the 50s. And in about 1959, there was a landscape architect from the Imperial Palace in Japan was coming through California to do Japanese gardens. And Mr. Yoshimura heard about it, and so he contacted him, and he came over here and they looked, and he asked Mr. Micke for 3 acres to build a Japanese garden. And I guess the price was right too for the landscape architect. So they began. A little background on Duke Yoshimura. He was of Japanese ancestry, born here, went back to Japan, and went to school there, came back when he was about 14. And so then he had to go to school here for language, he said, when he came back. He says, consequently, he couldn't speak English or Japanese.
Wow.
So then he went into the service during World War II rather than go to the camps, and became interpreter for the U.S. Army. Plus he was a judo expert.
Wow, talented.
And also taught self-defense for them. Then after the war, they came back and he went to work for the county and Mr. Micke. So he really, had a big interest in making a Japanese garden for the people here. For a while he lived in a little house over in the back. He was like a caretaker, and they used to have little fundraisers. They'd sell candy and toys and Japanese things. All the money went for the garden. Wow. And so this was started actually in 1959. It took 6 years to build and finish it in 1965, and they had a huge dedication, thing for the garden. It went along unfenced until about the early 1980s, when the county decided the fish were being taken and some of the pagodas had been damaged and broken, and so the county decided they were going to fix it up. So they fenced it in, and they had a teacher for us. And they asked for docents from, wherever they could come from. So
For the people at home, does it feel like we're really walking into Japan?
I hope so. This is a boat landing lantern. Now, they would put that at the end of a area that, would be a point they had huge lakes in Japan. But this is just representative of a huge lake, our pond. And it's an antique. And when we first started our classes, they said it was over 200 years old. And it does look kind of old and worn on the top. Again, it has a stylized bud look of the lotus bud. And we have some cranes out there on a little aisle that our group, the Japanese Garden Group, donated, and the stones representative of the many islands and stones of the imperial gardens and the goes back in old times through the religion. The garden represents three different religions, Buddhism, Taoism, and something else.
And there's a lot of fish out in there in that pond as well, right?
And they are called koi.
Yeah.
Koi can grow to be over 3 feet long and live for 200 years. Haven't seen that here yet. But we have a beautiful red bridge. Red is a symbol of happiness in all of, I think, a lot of the Oriental countries. This is a pagoda, actually. There are 5 different levels they usually have, and the rings on the top are representatives of the Buddha. And this is one of the things that was damaged during the time when the garden was, open and free. It got knocked off the pedestal and rolled down the hill, but they repaired it and did a great job. So that was very, good to see that done. I don't know if you want to go across the stepping stone.
All right, try not to fall. All right, we're going to be very careful here. Go across the stones. Look at this. This is like a real journey here. A nice adventure. And hopefully our cameraman will make it across safely. Very carefully here. So now this is open to the public, right? If people want to come out and...
Oh yeah, it's free, open to the public. They can come in. Like Sundays afternoons, it's closed. Saturday afternoon, because of the weddings, and I forgot to mention that over there.
Very beautiful waterfall here.
Here is our waterfall, and they have stones at the top. The one on the right would be like a guardian stone, and then the stone that the water comes down, they call a mirror stone. And these are part of all the stones that were brought in from Knight's Ferry. And the reason they built it this way is because they say that the evil spirits can't follow, they have to follow a very straight path, and they can't go up and down, they stay low to the ground. So if an evil spirit followed you across here and you made the turn...
We can get away from them.
Yeah, you can get away from them. And so that's the reason for the angled bridge, even though it comes from, the Chinese myths, because they really developed a lot of things from the Chinese.
Now, are there a lot of Japanese gardens in the United States?
Well, I think there are quite a few of them all over. I know I've kind of been to some. There's a great one, I think in San Mateo in Portland, Oregon, they have a great one. I think there's a lot of them around. You just don't hear about all of them.